Hey guys, welcome to my channel where I share stories where some may make you laugh, some may make you cry. In fact, some may make you downright judge me, but who cares? As long as you are gaining lessons that will help you along your life's journey. Welcome to Unscripted. All right, so now last week, I actually spoke on, I guess the years of me being a cheater, where I think I said his name was Ronald, where I cheated on Ronald, who was a childhood friend. We dated for the most part throughout middle and high school. We were on and off, and that experience helped me to realize a lot of my insecurities, a lot of areas that I needed to improve in, and some of which I actually carried over into my adulthood. So, but I've been able to navigate through many of those and overcame them. And a huge reason why I was able to overcome them was because I started going to therapy. However, how that came about is a story within itself. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. All right, so during I want to say, as I was earning my master's degree, I went to Southern New Hampshire University. Hey, and what I loved about the school, and many schools do this, because even where I obtained my doctorate degree at North Central University, now called National University, they provide resources, free resources to the students. And I've been a huge advocate, even to my my students, where I serve as a professor. I've been a strong advocate of, look, take advantage of whatever that is offered to you, or as many things that are offered to you in college, because you know that tuition and fees, part go towards the bulk of the free stuff that are available to students. So while they're stating that they're free, no, you paid for it. So I'm going to get my money's worth. That was my thought. And during the years that I was obtaining my master's degree, there was just so much that was going on. However, during that season in my life, I was obsessed with Iyanla Fix My Life. Listen, I would binge watch. I would watch the episodes every week on OWN. I would just watch and listen and learn. Now, while there are several things just spiritually that I do have a problem with the show in itself, and even honestly the therapist Iyanla, to be honest with you, I could not deny the effectiveness of her methodology. I could not. Because even though I was not necessarily in the same case or scenario as many of her, clients, a lot of the principles were actually quite helpful in terms of helping me understand how to navigate through things. Now, here's why that was important, because leading up until then, I heavily depended on my bishop. My bishop was my counselor. My bishop was the one that I would always go to have a conversation with, get guidance from, etc., blah, blah, blah. And honestly, it has been effective. It was quite effective. All the nuggets that I've learned, all of the things that I was able to apply to different scenarios and so forth, quite helpful. However, in a sense, I was also crippled And what do I mean? When it came to making big decisions, I actually felt uncomfortable no matter how grown I was. I actually felt uncomfortable making huge decisions without first going through my bishop. And again, who could blame me? I mean, he gave great advice, sound advice, great business advice, by the way, great business advices. So it wasn't as if the advice or the counsel that I received from him wasn't phenomenal. It's just that you also want to grow personally. You want to be able to not always be dependent, especially from a practical sense. He may not always be available, right? Large congregation, over 1,000 people that he's having to minister to and serve as a counselor and all of these things. At some point, you have to get off the milk and start eating some real solid food. Start eating the meat. And so I just had to get to there. But I didn't know how. And I was embarrassed to admit to people, even my bishop, that I did not know how. So I received an email and said, hey, there are free psychologist or therapy sessions available to our students. Y'all, I'm not drinking coffee today. I'm drinking water. So I'm slightly miserable, especially because I am tired. I had a restless night last night. I was just going through some warfare and prayed the bulk of the night. I want to say I had maybe about 2 hours of sleep, solid 2 hours of sleep. But God is good. He kept me so far. But I'm exhausted. So I'm drinking water. So the good thing is I probably won't be sipping as much as I usually do in my my videos. So for those who have a problem with me sipping my coffee during the video, this is your episode. Anyway, so I received an email, and you know what I did? And it was, again, an email just offering people to take advantage of the free service available to the student, free therapy sessions and so forth. And I laughed about it. I was like, no, I'm good. Don't want to waste my time. Don't want to waste anybody else's time. And this was, because I'm trying to remember the timeline. This was actually during the pandemic. I'm like, I'm good. I'm hearing all these counseling sessions and whatever. Whatever. As soon as I graduated with my master's, I, for the most part, this wasn't during the pandemic. My doctorate degree, that was actually towards the tail end of the pandemic. And so when I first got the email, when I was obtaining my master's degree, I laughed it off. I'm like, I'm good. I'm not gonna do anything through the computer. Now, mind you, I was watching Iyanla Fix My Life, which was televised, or watched old episodes on YouTube, and I didn't have a problem doing that. But suddenly it became a problem getting professionals to give me counsel or therapy through the computer. The other thing is, if I have to be honest, there's such a huge taboo on therapy, especially within my community, right? And I was like, well, if I'm gonna go to therapy, I want them to fix something. I don't know what I would want them to fix. So, okay, I'm not gonna go. Fast forward not too long after that, I was in my doctoral program. And during that time, I received another email. I don't know what it was. It was almost as if something like like kicked me in my stomach and said, girl, listen, you don't have it all together. Go ahead and set up an appointment. Y'all, I opened the email, set up everything, was about to click the send button, and I reneged. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Because again, I felt like I needed to have huge problems for me to see a therapist. And while, yeah, there were some problems, I didn't think that they were like huge problems. And I didn't want it to be a case of, the stereotypical cases. My childhood trauma and this and that and whatever the case may be. And this is, and all of that affects how I operate. Although that is actually true, I didn't want to have to face that. So I ignored it. It wasn't until I saw an episode, and I can't remember the name of the talk show, but I saw, I'm calling it a talk show, but I don't know if it was just like an interview of some sort. And I remember the person that was being interviewed, he said that he wished that more people, especially within our community, would go to therapy. But he noted there's this whole stigma on therapy, as if, you have to have these huge problems to go to therapy. He said, but in all honesty, what you should look for in a therapist is someone to help you to navigate through hurdles, challenges, questions, decision makings, etc. Soon as he said decision makings, I was like, hold up. That is an area that I'm struggling in with my old self. I am struggling in, and you know what? Let me try therapy at that time. And let me tell you something. The past 4 years has been such a game changer for me due to therapy. On top of, by the way, continued godly counsel. So I didn't stop meeting with my bishop or getting guidance from my pastor or getting guidance from my spiritual mom and so forth, my elders, right? It's not that I necessarily stopped, but having an objective person who really did not know me helped me navigate the principles. So here's a couple of things that I gained in terms of being in therapy. Firstly, the job of the therapist really shouldn't be to give you answers or to, for the most part, I don't know what other term, but give you answers to your problems or give you solutions to your problem. They need to navigate you. They need to navigate you, which may cause them to ask questions. Well, was there something that happened in your childhood that may have caused you to think this way or feel this way or act this way? Did you have some form of interaction and so forth? Okay, you did? Okay. How do you feel that impacted you and influenced you to make X, Y, and Z decisions? Why are you so dependent on your bishop in terms of making decisions? So their job is to ask the questions to help you navigate through the situation. That, to me, is what a great therapist would do. Not necessarily give you all the answers, right? Oh, you're going to do that because when you were violated and whatever the case may be, that automatically caused you to think ABC. When what's best is for the patient to think about it okay, this thing may have influence, or this violation may have influenced my insecurities. Okay, now that I've identified what the problem is, what steps can I take to ensure that doesn't impact the way I function and operate, etc. From a spiritual side, how can I kill it? So you have to know how to navigate it and have a balance, because you want to navigate it from a practical sense, and then from a spiritual sense, you want to, for the most part, get rid of it or have it where it doesn't affect you as much. So anyhow, my first session, y'all, I logged on and I was like, hey. So her name is Dr. Williams, and I said, hey doc, nice to meet you, just all the cordial stuff. And so she flat out said, what would you like to get out of these sessions? I said, isn't that your job? For you to tell me what I should get out of these sessions? She's like, no, I'm here to help guide you through whatever it is you deem necessary to guide you in. I immediately said, ma'am, I'm just gonna call you back next week because I ain't got nothing for you. And to my surprise, she said, understood, reschedule. Usually I would, at least what I would have thought was that she would have said, no, let's kind of talk it out. Let's, whatever. But she was about that life. She was like, okay, if you don't want to talk, well, whenever you're ready to talk, come on and have a conversation with me. So the next week I got on and I said, hey, I have the answer to your question. And she says, let's put a pin in that. Why did you not know how to answer the questions that I gave you? I said, well, I don't really know. She said, okay, well, I want you to take a few minutes and just kind of gnaw it over. I was frustrated. I said, ma'am, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you want me to say. We probably won't have to talk next week. And to my surprise, okay. By the third time, I was like, look, ma'am, I need to navigate through some decisions and so forth. The reason being is because I tend to be very dependent on my spiritual elders and pastor and bishop, etc. I tend to lean on them, and I want to be able to be independent. Why wouldn't you consider yourself to be independent now? Lady, I just told you that I depend on these people in order for me to make decisions, etc. Well, do you typically make poor decisions? Before you started seeking guidance from them, did you typically make poor decisions? Yeah, I did. Okay, well, let's unpack that. Why did you consider those to be poor decisions? Was it based on the people? Was it based on people? Was it based on circumstance? Was it an environmental issue? What was the issue? So you see how she would just ask questions. I'm like, okay, well, it will cause me to think. I like the fact that my therapist knows me in the sense of I don't want to just always talk. I know that's hard to believe. But yeah, sometimes I just don't want to talk. I just want to, let's go through this session, let me learn some things, etc. And so what she would do, she would have manipulative. So she would have like little games and so forth. That actually helps her to best understand my thought process. And also it helps me to understand that as well. But at the end of the day, having some of those activities have helped me a great deal in terms of me getting to the point where I was comfortable. And it's just so important, comfortable to speak with my therapist, to be vulnerable to her, to let her know my frustration, what's causing my frustration, etc. Because I was so accustomed to wearing a mask that I'm just like, I don't need to be in my business or whatever. I don't care. I don't care if you're professional. I wasn't interested. But asking me those questions and challenging me in terms of taking the steps and actions to actually better myself, to process things. Even when I do things now, I would evaluate my actions and I would ask, did I do the right thing here? overstep my bounds? Was I mean? Sometimes I can be mean, was I mean, etc. So those are the things that have helped me. And as a result, I have become a huge advocate of therapy. Because let's keep it all the way to 100. If it wasn't for God, godly counsel and therapy, I would probably be on the next flight to hell. At the bottom, at the bottom line, period. And also, I would be living a self-destructive life. And that, oof, y'all, I can't afford that. My soul cannot support that. So while, yes, I did graduate last year, I'm just thrilled that my therapist, honestly is okay with me extending it, just reducing the frequency, because not paying out of pocket, but she gave me a discounted rate, but reduce the frequency, and it has helped me just be a better version of myself, letting go of baggage, letting go of hurt, of pain that I didn't even know I was still dealing with. I didn't know that I was still facing. And so therapy for sure helped me. That coupled with prayer, listen, nothing like it. Nothing like it. With these steps and receiving the gift of the Holy Ghost. Ooh, nothing like that. But it really was helpful. So that's my story for the week. Really short and sweet. I really encourage you, if you need the help, get in touch with a therapist. It'll change your life. All right, so that's all for today's episode. Please follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Works by Dina. That's Works by Dina. If you would like to ask me any questions, because I think that at the end of next month I probably want to do a Q&A episode. Feel free to send it to me at Works by Dina. That's DIN as in Nancy A @gmail.com. Businesses, if you want to promote your business, send me an email as well. Like you can definitely reach me through email, through my social media platform. Be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. Make sure to like and share my videos. Y'all, I'm trying to get to at least 100 subscribers by the end of this month. Little by little, I want to increase my subscription. So the only way I could do that is with your help. So share the link to my video and ask your loved ones and your friends and your homies and everyone in between to please subscribe to my channel. All right, until next week, deuces.